One of the easiest ways of developing a side business today is to develop mobile apps and publishing those apps in Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Many think that these stores are quite saturated and it is very difficult to get downloads and even the revenue. While it is sort of true, but it is not totally impossible to generate revenue from these stores. When you publish your app, it automatically becomes available around the world, and any user from any country can download your app and start using it and maybe make a purchase. So first things first, it doesn't matter if you're running a small business or a bigger company. I believe that you want to decrease your costs as much as possible. You want to increase your revenue as much as possible as well. With those things in mind, I believe that you want to publish your apps in both Apple App Store and Google Play Store, not only in one of them. Even if people say that you make a lot more money from Apple App Store, the amount of money that you can generate or the amount of revenue that you can generate from Google Play Store is really not insignificant. There are millions, actually billions of people using Android phones around the world today, and it is not like before anymore. There are quite a lot of premium phones running on Android operative systems as well. And to start with, since we want to have our app in both of the stores, Apple App Store and Google Play Store, so one of the first questions we will need to answer will be if we are going to develop a native app or a cross-platform app. My short answer to this question is that you should definitely go for the cross-platform solution, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, the number one reason is that if you go for the native solution, you are going to have two different code bases for the same app. The product will be the same. The end user will see no difference whatsoever. They're not going to be interested in which programming language has been used in the development of the app. They will only be interested in the functionality and the user interface. While this is the case, it doesn't really make sense to have two different code bases that does exactly the same job at the end of the day. And if you go for the native solution, you're going to be duplicating your efforts to be able to develop exactly the same app, and you will also be duplicating your costs because you will need to have two different kinds of expertise in these domains. One person maybe is going to be working with the iOS app development, another one will be working on the Android version of it. They will need to communicate all the time to be able to create the same product at the end of the day, because the user experience should actually be the same in both platforms. So from this angle, it doesn't really make sense to have two different code bases for the same product. And if you go for the native solution here, developing these apps is going to take a lot more time and resources. It's going to take a lot more time to test your application. And it's going to be more difficult for you to be consistent in your performance and offerings and functionality in your apps in both platforms. And life becomes actually much easier if you pick a cross-platform solution. You can go for Flutter or, for example, React Native. You can have only one code base for your app and publish exactly the same app in both of the platforms almost at the same time. Another reason is the time, and time is the money. It takes a lot more time to develop two different apps that's going to do the same job at the end of the day. Let's summarize it. If you go for the native app development path, you're going to duplicate your development efforts. It's going to take a lot more resources for you. It's going to cost a lot more money to develop two separate apps that's going to do the same thing at the end of the day. The second reason is the time. It's going to take a lot more time, and time means money here. I believe you're going to be quite quick at publishing your app and even delivering the updates later on. And the third reason is the performance. Yes, there might be some minor performance differences, but you know what? Is it really that important? Will end users really feel the performance differences between a native app and a cross-platform app? And I'm not sure about it. Probably 99% of the mobile apps out there are not going to have any performance difference whatsoever. At the end of the day, if you want to go and develop your app in Swift UI for Apple App Store and maybe Java or Kotlin for Google Play Store, go ahead and do it. And that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.